You want your hair cut?
Yeah.
So before we get started doing hair, we're gonna make a little concrete mixer.
Yes.
Put a bunch of ice cream, some of those bad boys.
And some, more or less.
You're gonna put all that in there?
Not all of it. Just like I'm saying, that's just, I don't want to go back out and get some more.
Hey guys, hope you're having a wonderful Friday. So the first thing I'm gonna do here is section her hair to give me more control. Pay no attention to that cutie pie in the background. I'm gonna clip it up and out of the way and start in the very back at the very bottom of her hair with this cut. So the hardest part of the whole thing is making sure that you guys can see what I'm doing, because my head or my arm keeps getting in the way. But I'm trying my best, guys. I'm sorry if I accidentally block things like here with my head. Right there. You can still kind of see down there, but there's also a heavy shadow here, which makes it hard to tell how straight of a line that is. But all I do is cut straight across there, cutting off all that extra length. And I have her look down while I'm doing it, and that creates a slight undercut, meaning when she lifts her head up, the hair on the very bottom is just a tad shorter than the hair right above it. So it lays kind of curving inward towards her neck inward instead of flipping out. And doing that, and then I'm going through and making a short taper around the bottom of her hair. And the thing that's so great about doing this in a haircut is that it's so easy to blow dry. It's so easy to style. It's like you're cutting the style into the hair. Now I'm just checking my sections that I cut with a little scissors over comb. If there are some areas that are still a little longer, I can catch them with these vertical parting checks. Now, following my guide from earlier, or where I left off cutting from earlier, I'm going to continue up the back of the head, gradually angling out so it gets longer at the top than it was at the bottom. And this will give us that volume through the crown and just make a very pleasant profile, especially from the side. Now when I get to the top of the hair, I do angle it in just a smidge so that we don't have a real harsh, heavy, see here I'm kind of angling it in instead of still going straight out. That way, as it lays, we don't have a line, a heavy line, a weight line of any kind. All right, now on to the sides. So I leave her sides a little longer, almost like a bob, but not quite. And I angle it forward because my mom loves to tuck her hair behind her ears. And so I don't want to cut it so short that she can't tuck it. But I also don't want to leave so much hair that there's too much hair for it to tuck behind the ear. And so I leave it long enough to tuck, and then I go through and layer out the bulkiness of it, which I'm doing right here. Now, Mom says her hair is so fine, and it is fine, but she does have a lot of hair. She would probably disagree with me, but she does. So it's important to make sure to thin it out enough in the areas where she doesn't need it to be real thick. It just makes it so much easier to style in the long run. Okay, and so I'm blending this now into the top part and making sure that I have everything into a nice, to where there's not going to be any heavy drops in it that would create weight lines. So pulling it up, blending everything in. It's all a matter of making, it's all geometry, guys. I'm just making one plane meet the other plane and as seamlessly as possible. I'm such a dork. Now I like the way this front lays here, but I trim it just a smidge just to make sure it's a nice blunt edge and we don't have any stragglers there. All right, guys, so here we are on the other side, and we're just doing our best. I don't know why I'm the royal we all of a sudden. I'm doing my best just to make sure that everything kind of matches and is symmetrical with the other side. It's really hard for me to get it out of the way of the camera doing this side for some reason. So I think it's because I'm right-handed and I want to stand right in front of the camera here. I'm just blending things in and taking off the bulk. Once again, planning out how her hair is going to lay when she tucks it behind her ears so that it will not be too thick or too heavy. And now I'm starting to blend in the back, the crown. Look how long that is. That makes it hard. When it's that long and you have fine hair, it really makes it hard to get volume. And Mom's hair is just like mine. It is stick straight. When it gets wet, it gets a little bit of curl in it, but that falls right out as soon as it dries. So very important to get it the right length on the top. Too short and it will stand up. Too long and it will lay down. And we want somewhere right in the middle. All right, now we're gonna trim the bangs. So my mom likes her bangs trimmed a little shorter than I really like to cut them, but that way she gets more longevity. And I know a lot of you are probably the same way. When I cut bangs, or trim bangs for that matter, I go straight across the brow line until I get to the arch of the eyebrow, and then I start angling down. And this, for most bangs, is the look that people like. They want a soft face framing kind of bangs. Okay, and what I'm doing here is doing a little what I would call a micro layer around the bottom of the bangs. This will create the same effect as a light point cutting, just to soften up those bangs so that you don't have a heavy, straight, first day of school look to it, you know what I mean? Now I'm having her look down again because I'm using the trimmers to go along her neckline to make it super straight and to get off any straggler neck hairs. Oh boy, my favorite part. So you saw how quickly and easy I blow dried the bottom back. You didn't have to get a brush in it or anything. It just is cut to lay the way I want it to so that you don't have to do anything to it. Now I have to get the brush out to do the crown and the front of the hair, but it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I blow dry it mostly before I get the brush in it. The brush is just to kind of smooth it out really and add a little volume at the roots. So I will use my heat and my cool shot while I'm blow drying this hair. I use the heat to smooth it out and get it just the way I want it, and then I hit it with that cool shot and it really locks it in. And it helps hold that volume, helps it to stay there all day. Now as we get to the top, I like to blow dry it all back and then I part it during styling, but blow drying it up and back gets that volume in there. If I blow dry it to the side, where I parted it will be flatter to the head. So I blow dry it all straight back, and then after I'm done styling, I part it. So you start out looking kind of intense in volume there, all going straight back, kind of 60s almost. But then afterwards, we can calm it back down and make it more current by parting it and getting it. It's easier to calm volume down than it is to add it post-styling. So, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's just a lot easier. So add as much volume in there as you can while you're blow drying. And you might feel like I look like a lion right now, but you can calm it all down afterwards. Thinning shears or texturizing shears depends on what you're using them for. They are the same thing, just called different things depending on what you're using them for. So I like to texturize the very ends of her hair. It just makes it a little lighter and really helps it bump itself up. It just helps it be a little more obedient when you want volume. So I like to do that. It makes a big difference in styling later on. A lot of people will point cut to get the same effect, and both are excellent options. All right, there we go. Let's do a little close-up of this. And there it is, guys. That's the final product. And thanks a lot to Mom for being the guinea pig again. Not so much for letting me cut her hair, but for letting me film it. That's a big deal. So, thanks for joining us, guys. See you next time. Bye.